The game has only just begun. Radio Silence directors Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette are back for round 2 with their new horror comedy film, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. Samara Weaving returns as Grace, the battle-worn and bloody bride, and is joined by stars Katherine Newton, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sean Hattasey, Nestor Carbonell, David Cronenberg, and Elijah Wood. After Grace marries into a mysterious family and is forced to play a life-or-death game of hide-and-seek, she emerges victorious. But what she didn't know is that by winning, she triggered a whole new twisted battle. This time with her estranged sister Faith at her side, the duo faces a shadowy group of rival devil-worshipping families who control the world, and they must fight to the bloody death for the ultimate prize. 2 times the kills, 2 times the satanic rituals, and 2 times the human combustion. Don't miss the full tilt insanity, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, when it hits theaters March 20th. Hello, and welcome to this bonus episode of Scare You to Sleep. This is a Q&A episode. So if you'd like to know some A's about some Q's I was asked, then stick around. I also got a lot of comments, and I did get a couple confessions, so thank you for those. Those are always fun, and I can't wait to do this again, but let's jump into this possibly very vulnerable episode. I don't know yet. I think it will be, though. I'm a little bit emotional today. I've been mentioning on the show that I've been very busy, and I will say that this week I got the news that my grandma had to be admitted to the hospital. I won't, tell you what's wrong because I don't want to break her HIPAA for her, but I do believe in the power of positive thinking. So if you could all send very good vibes to my grandma. I've already had a couple good cries about it because she means so much to me. She's the one I've mentioned that taught me how to make tortillas and albondigas, and she is who I had my office at her house while I was going through my divorce. I got to spend a lot of quality time with her as an adult, which, you don't get a lot of normally with your grandma. And so, yeah, please send her some positive vibes, healing vibes. I would really appreciate it. Okay, let's jump into this episode before I cry again. So I had most of you send your questions to this NGL app, I guess. It's an app? Yes, it's an app. I discovered this app years ago when I would see people on Twitter use it, and they'd be like, I'm bored, send me some questions. And it'd be like famous people on Twitter, not like me. But it fascinated me. So then when I started getting a little more of an audience, I was like, I wonder what people would ask me if they asked me something, if they could do it anonymously. I had the voicemail episodes and everything, and those weren't really anonymous. The last one I did have that anonymous form, or maybe the last 2, I'm not sure. But something about this, it's easier to share on social media. I don't know. And I did actually check the previous anonymous form that I had put up, because I don't put that into the link to it in the show notes anymore. But I thought, right as I was sitting down, wait a minute, it is in the show notes of some older episodes. And sure enough, some people had submitted. I have 15 responses in here. I have quite a few on NGL. So I'm just going to kind of go through them as I got them and kind of cherry pick some from this anonymous form. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. This episode would end up being 3 hours long, I think. And because, I'm a talker, and I don't know if you want to hear me answer questions for that long. It's a great range of questions, everything from very personal to how the industry works to it's a little bit of everything. So I wanted to start with one that it's pertinent to the show. What are your favorite sounds? I loved this question because I do have a few favorite sounds, but I love sounds. I can get easily overstimulated by like a lot of loud stuff, but when it comes to my favorite sounds are quiet sounds, are intimate sounds. Oh, that sounded bad. Not like that. sounds that happen in quiet moments. Like a lot of my favorite sounds are most people's least favorite. Like I love the sound of someone chewing gum, or like talking while they're chewing gum, or like if they have like a hard candy in their mouth. That's some of my favorite ASMR. There's this one, it's been since deleted. It's by a bigger ASMR artist too, Gentle Whispering. She had this one where she was just kind of giving life updates. It was very casual. She was talking about like her nail polish brand that she had tried to launch with her husband and it didn't work out. But the whole time she had a hard candy in her mouth. It was so clicky. I just loved it. I love the sound. I love mouth sounds. The clicking and the like, there's even like, you can hear someone's like throat sometimes, like the gurgle of a throat. It's strange. I'm a freak, I know. When I worked in retail, I used to work at this place called Unique Vintage. Some of you have probably heard of it. And not infrequently, I don't know why this happened more at this shop more than other retail places I worked at. Probably because it was kind of a quieter atmosphere and it wasn't like a chain, at least not at the time. I think they have a couple locations now. But we would have people come in and sometimes they would kind of hum to themselves as they were shopping, like to the music we were playing or even just to their own tune. And overhearing someone quietly humming to themselves, it was like being on a cloud. This is so creepy, but I would not like stalk them, but I would try to like be near them if they were like, I remember this one woman in particular, she had the most beautiful voice and she was just humming. And it was like I was transported somewhere. It was just it just hit my brain in the most satisfying way. I also love the sounds of like little breaths people take. It's very people oriented. Again, I'm not saying it's not strange. I never claimed it wasn't. And like sometimes I have to edit certain things for other people for part of my other job, audio wise, and it's like raw audio, and they leave in all of their little like just their little breaths they take between saying the dialogue. And I just love that sound. Like, I love that sound. It, like, in a serial killer way, I'm like, oh, what if I made a compilation of these breaths? And then I realize that is like a serial killer thing to do, and I don't do it. So those are my favorite sounds. Just put me on whatever list you need to put me on now. Oh, and by the way, I try my best to take those sounds out of my own audio because I am very well aware that most people don't like those. So I really try my darndest to take out mouth sounds, little breaths, anything like that from the main episodes. Wow, we're already 7 minutes in. This is crazy. I knew it. I'm not going to be able to get through all these. I don't want to leave you. You know, though, a friend recently did say to me that she hates it when creators say like, oh no, I hope this isn't too long of an episode, or oh, we got to cut it short because it's too long. And she was like, I listen to them because I want to hear them talk. I don't care if it's a long episode. So maybe I should listen to that. So this next one is a personal one. Would you be agreeable to marriage again in the future, or has the whole idea become sour to you? That's a good question, Anon. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to answer because I haven't been in a relationship since my divorce. And so it's hard to say how I would even feel in a relationship. It hasn't been something that's been presented to me. And I haven't sought out a relationship, to be honest. And the very few times that I have felt amorous towards another hasn't seemed to be reciprocated. That or that person is maybe not available in certain ways, because it's so hard to say without, like, I don't want anyone to figure out who any of these people are because they're innocence and all this. None of these are bad people. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Sometimes people just aren't interested in you back, or sometimes they have their own stuff going on a world away, and you realize it's just not feasible for you to move your whole life for them. So and then you realize they don't feel like it's worth it to move for you either. So maybe this is a moot point. And that's kind of how it goes, and it's just, I have not explored anything past a gentle flirtation with anyone. So it's hard to say whether I don't not believe in like marriage. I'm not like soured on it fully, but it's not something that I consider right now. It's not something that has come up. Maybe in the future. Of course I've thought about it, like, and I joke about it, like, oh, I'm going to get married. I might as well just pull full Liz Taylor and just get married like 6 more times after this. No, but that's not me. I generally, I can't predict the future, but I see myself, I try to picture myself as being happy if nothing romantic does ever work out for me. And I try to build my life around myself and my friends and my family and my hobbies and my work. Honestly, mostly my work, if we're going to be completely honest, because I don't know. Maybe no one's out there for me. Maybe no one will ever reciprocate my amorous feelings. And that's just something I have to live with. And instead of curling up in a ball and beating myself up about it, that probably wasn't proper English, because I don't know. I've really started to unpack, like, there's nothing, it's not that, you know what? Never mind. I've already said too much. Let's move on to a different question. Okay, this is more of a comment. You should come to Vermont. We have mountains, great hiking trails, Bigfoot, Champ the lake monster, and the Bennington Triangle, where weird shit happens a lot. I do know about the Bennington Triangle because I did like part of an episode on one. I did an episode years ago on like missing people, and I did cover the Bennington Triangle. So that is fascinating. I've never been to Vermont. It sounds cool to me. I love hiking. I love cryptids. So yeah, I would consider it if I ever have a chance. I'll drop by Vermont. What would you do if you didn't do acting and your podcasts? Hell if I know, girl. I don't know. I wanted to be a writer. I want to write. I want to write. That's what I started the podcast was for my writing. I didn't voice act before this. I didn't even know if I had a voice for podcasts. And then it turns out a lot of you think I do, which is great. And then I started being asked to do some voice acting because I started getting better at it because of my own show. And from there, I've gotten lots of opportunities. And through that, I've gotten opportunities to write for other shows. That wasn't answering your question, but I just wanted to point out, this isn't what I sought out to do in life. But also, I was kind of a wayward, lost soul before this. I had a myriad of retail jobs, and at the time of the podcast taking off, I was a background actor in Hollywood. I did TV and movies. I mean, a lot of you know that already, so I won't get into it, but that's what I was doing when my podcast kind of took off, and I was just kind of in a dead-end marriage and a dead-end job and a dead-end place that I lived, and I was at a lot of dead ends. So I really can't say. I couldn't say. This has become my whole life, so I have no idea. I don't have any degrees. I didn't go to college. I'm not good in school. I'm an autodidact through and through with everything and every skill I've acquired, it's admirable. I mean, I guess I'm not the one who can say that, but I find it admirable in myself that I've taught all this sound engineering that I know, and everything I know has been through various jobs and life events and YouTube University, essentially, and a lot of research. And yeah, I'm all self-taught, so I don't think those are transferable skills. Maybe I have a few transferable skills. Again, I do have another job now where I do, I don't want to get into it, but I do spreadsheets and editing and things. So, I've learned things over the years, but I don't know what I would do. Who would hire me? I don't have a degree. People with degrees are having a hard time getting hired. So please support my podcast because I can't do anything else. That's not true. I am also a very hard worker. So again, I will take any retail job thrown my way. I will lift heavy boxes. I will deal with angry customers, but I'm happy to not do that anymore. But I think it gave me a lot of people skill. It gave me a lot of my people skills. It gave me a lot of my, there's kind of a saying where you can tell when someone's never had to work in a customer facing job. And I think that's very true. I won't expand on that. Next question. What is a creepy/eerie fact that you have learned that you wish you hadn't? There's a lot. I love a creepy, eerie fact. But anything to do with space. Anything to do with space. It scares me. It makes me feel small in the bad way. Like I've talked about how I like to feel small sometimes at the end of movies. And in awe of the greatness around us in the universe. And I know that involves space, but so many space facts. Anything to do with the Large Hadron Collider. Yeah. I think that, yeah. Space, the final frontier that I will not be voluntarily frontiering in ever. Can't get me to space. Don't make me go to space. Don't make me go to space. Okay, that wasn't a very good answer. Next question. I got a couple kind of like this, and I got a lot of questions like this at Creep by Econ when I was at the booth working the Bloody Disgusting booth. So I'm going to answer it. It's not to do with me, but it's not even going to be very helpful, but I got laid off in January last year and haven't found anything. Do you know anyone hiring remote workers right now? Honestly, no, I don't. I know the job market out there is absolutely insane, and I feel for anyone having to deal with it. It's why I have 12 jobs now. I take on way too much, and I take on anything that is paid, some unpaid, thinking maybe it'll lead to something paid. So yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't though. And like I said, I got a lot of people at the booth asking me the same thing and asking me if my company was hiring. They might be. I'm not in charge of the hiring or what positions are open though. So that is way above my pay grade. So I'm not sure, but I think I can't speak for the rest of the companies out there, but I know Bloody Disgusting and Cineverse, I think they have a careers section on the website you could check out. Couldn't hurt. I'm so sorry. I wish I could help everyone. I wish I could plant a job tree that grew jobs and hand everyone a job. Or maybe some sort of tree that made us not have to have jobs. Maybe a money tree. Actually, a money tree would Why am I creating a job tree when I could create a money tree? It's my fantasy. Why am I creating a job tree in my own fantasy? I don't know. But you have my empathy though. I'm so sorry. Have you ever read a book or story that creeped you out so badly that you had to stop and come back to it later? This is so not basic, I guess. In the horror world it feels like it, but House of Leaves. I had to at one point, upon one reading of it, I had to stop. It was making me depressed. And also, I worked somewhere, I think it was when I was still doing background, I had to work in a building where they had these textured gray walls that are, if you've read House of Leaves, that's kind of what the walls are described as in the space they get into. I don't want to give any spoilers, and it was freaking me out in real life, not in the midst of reading the book. In real life, I was oh, it's the walls. It's the walls. And it also just made me majorly depressed. And in an eerie way, in an impending doom way. it felt cursed if I had kept reading it upon that reading. I've read it a couple times, but upon that reading, it felt like I was creating a curse upon myself by reading the book. That sounds so crazy now that I'm saying it out loud. I don't think I've ever said that out loud. I don't know. That sounds crazy. But yeah, that one. Also, Head Full of Ghosts got me. Head Full of Ghosts was very eerie to me. I had a friend read it who thought it was dumb and said the ending was dumb, and I was so shocked. I was like, no, but it was so scary. It was so scary. So I think Head Full of Ghosts or House of Leaves were 2 for me. If they didn't scare you, that's so cool. And you're cooler. You're cooler than me. I don't know what to say. This one's strange. What is the scariest real life story you learned about that led someone to go into hiding and you've never received updates from them since? I don't know any specific stories like that. That's a very specific set of circumstances. But I don't know. But I wanted to read that because I would love it if anyone had one of those stories and wanted to share it with me, because that sounds really interesting. Missing people stories really get me, but a lot of the missing people stories I know of, I don't, because how would you know if they went into hiding? Would they leave a note and be like, hey, I'm going into hiding, and then you haven't heard from them? Or wouldn't they just go missing? Unless, again, maybe this is referencing something very specific I've never heard of, so please let me know. Shelby, thank you for years of listening pleasure. I have re-listened to your entire catalog numerous times. On to the question, how do you decide which music to use for each story? I've been amazed at how suitable each song is to the story you read. Thank you, first of all. Second of all, this is going to be the most annoying answer. It's just vibes. I just go with vibes. Sometimes I'm just feeling out a story, and I love it when I get feedback from an author, if it's a story I have not written myself, and they tell me I would have never picked that music, but it fits so well. And as a writer, that's one thing that's beautiful to me for other people to read my stories. I would love if other shows did more of my stories, just because it's so fascinating to see someone take something you created in your brain and kind of mold it into what their vision of it was. I love that. And I'm so grateful that others trust me to do that for their own work, because as a creator, it is difficult to trust your work with someone else. These are your darlings, And so it's just vibes. It's just vibes. Sometimes it's like to explain it, it would be like explaining how my brain worked, and I don't know how it works. I'll go into a story, I'll sit down with it, and something about it, and sometimes it won't even be music that's necessarily my favorite, kind of the more 80s electronic, lo-fi kind of stuff isn't even what I would necessarily gravitate to. You could probably guess. You're going to be like, oh, shocker, I love classical music a lot more than some others, but I also, it's like something happens when I'm editing, and I'm not just me, I am the story. Oh, that's what a masturbatory answer, huh? What a creative asshole answer is that, huh? Well, there you go, though. I become the story. Quote me on that. Quote me on that and be like, ugh, she's changed. I do. I just become what the story needs, or at least what my brain sees it as. I see it play out in my brain. I have a very, very vivid imagination and visual brain. I know, I think we've talked about it before on the show, picture an apple. Now, spin the apple around. What does your apple look like? And then some people have, I cannot remember what it's called, where they can't picture things in their brains. They don't have their brain doesn't show pictures. And I'm the opposite. I'm my brain is a 40x motion picture experience. Even my dreams, I dream in color. I dream very vividly. I remember most of my dreams. I have a lot of lucid dreams. I don't know, man. And so all of that just translates to these stories where I start to see in in that 40x theater that is my mind, and it's vibes. I should have just stayed with that first part, huh? Vibes. Next question. Shelby, when I finish all available episodes, I go back and re-listen to your full catalog again. Have you considered re-releasing or re-recording your earlier episodes or those outside of Patreon? Perhaps creating a downloadable option for a fee. Cheers and keep up the good work. This is a few questions. So, yes, I have considered re-recording some of the earlier episodes because they're rough. Girl, are they rough. They're embarrassing for me to go listen to, but everybody's got to start somewhere. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Some people have asked me not to because they like the original nature of all of them. I don't know. Some have begged for me to because they're bad, but they like the stories. So yeah, I've considered re-recording them, and I do know that not all of them are on Patreon. I can sit down at some point and upload every single one of them, the ones that weren't on Patreon. And the reason they're not on Patreon is just because I didn't get a Patreon until the show had been out for a little while. So, and then when I was with Spotify for a year, they didn't allow me to have a Patreon in my contract, so I didn't upload those to Patreon either. There have been some that I've gone back, like all the guided nightmares are there now. I've uploaded all of those. I tried this new feature Patreon had where you can add all the episodes, but it didn't work. It was just with ads, and then there were double versions. It was a mess. And then I had to go delete all of those. It took me hours. Anyway, I would need a few days to do all that. So I just haven't had the time. And the thing is, I'm the only person with access to my Patreon because Patreon's a little bit more of a delicate balance because it has access to your funds and everything. And so I don't know if I'd trust anyone to help me with that other than I don't know. You know what? My mom's retiring soon. Maybe I can give her a good retirement job. I trust her with my money. Famous last words. Ask any child actor. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. I do trust you. I never know when my family's listening. I kind of do a dance like nobody is watching thing when it comes to my content because otherwise I would feel too stifled. But every once in a while, a family member will be like, I listened to your latest episode and you don't need to talk like that. You have a filthy mouth. And I go, yep. Well, pray for me. I don't know. It's like some certain family members just kind of pop in every once in a while. I don't know why. It's like over on the Bloody Disgusting podcast, every once in a while, my parents will be like, we watched this episode and you were talking like a sailor. Well, you've known me my whole life, and you created me, so it's kind of on you. Perhaps creating a downloadable option for a fee. See, that would also require just a lot of hours upon hours of free uploading and everything. I'm totally open to it. I just need the time. I'm trying to free up a little more of my time for this show. So we'll see in the coming weeks. We'll see. But I'm keep reminding me though, keep on me, because if it's a priority for other people, then I will make it a priority for myself. I got this question a lot in a few different forms. Do you think you'll get Clara a kitling anytime soon? No. Clara, my baby Clara Beau, she has feline hyperesthesia. She's also a very nervous kitty. Those are her vet's words. She does not like other animals. She has been around other cats before, including when she was in the shelter where I got her from, and she likes to be alone. I would consider getting her getting another cat if I had more space, so she could have time to really have time to adjust, and her and new cat could have time, ample space to get used to each other, like through a door or something. But I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's just not, I'm not saying that's not enough space for more than one cat. That's not what I'm saying. I know a lot of people do it successfully, and that's great. I'm saying with my particular neurologically impaired baby, I just don't think it would be the best thing. And I'm only one person as well. I don't have anyone to help me grab the other cat if something goes awry. Cats famously can sneak out of places pretty easily. She's a wily one, man. You should be here when it's medicine time, when it's time to give her medicine. Ugh. There's one time I just ended up sobbing on the floor. I was like, this is why I need a partner in my life to at least help me wrangle the cat. I don't even have anyone to help me wrangle the cat or help me go get my oil changed. That's just another, I told you it was going to be a vulnerable episode. This is a peek into my life in the last couple weeks. Sometimes you got to sob on the floor about being alone. And then you go on and you're like, wait, actually, I like being alone a lot. Actually, being alone is the tits. I love it. Because I do. Sometimes you have those moments where you're like, I just need someone to help me, like go get the groceries. And then you're like, oh my God, I am so glad there is no one else here. I love my little space. I love all my free time. I love being able to do whatever I want to do with my free time. I love only having to decide dinner for myself. And I guess for Clara too, but like, you know, which can is it, you know? I do have fun picking her dinner though. I'm like, what is it tonight? Beef livers and chicken hearts or extra gravy with roasted chicken. I love picking her dinner. I've even made her own wet food before when there was a shortage of wet food for cats, and that was fun too. So yeah, there you go. There's your answer. Have you ever considered doing baking for a living? No. God bless you for this question, but God, no. Owning a bakery looks hard. My hat is off to anyone who works in a bakery, who owns one, who just works in one. Not just, that sounds, that's rude. Who works in one, take out the just. No, I like doing it as a hobby. I haven't even ever filmed myself doing it. People have asked me before to like, oh, you should do videos of you baking. It's my like time to zone out and listen to some like rowdy ass like story about how a woman caught her husband cheating on TikTok. That's like 30 minutes long. And just zoning out. So I have, no desire to do it professionally. I don't think I'm not that astute at baking. I love it, but I don't think I'm bakery levels. So, no. This one's strange. How is your medical situation going? I don't know if you mean like my gallbladder thing, because that was a while ago. I'm good. She's good. She's gone. The space she's left in my body is great. It's all good. I've had a lot of back issues lately, lower back issues, but, I don't think I've talked about those much, though, so I probably didn't mean those. Pretty good. I don't really talk about my medical stuff that much, though, other than, my gallbladder. She's gone. You're cute. Thank you. Would you rather live in a world where it rained blood one full day every 2 weeks, or where spiders were the size of German shepherds? Spiders can eat you, but don't actively hunt you. Are you kidding? Why is this even a question? Blood rain sounds awesome. Are there is it like clean blood? Is it like full of diseases? I don't know what the issue would be other than like that. Otherwise, if it's just like clean blood rain, I could just stay inside even. Not wear white on those days. I have a uterus. I know how to deal with bloody days where it feels like blood is raining down. So, no, I'm good. Blood rain. Spiders. I'm not even scared of spiders, but are you kidding me? Who would pick spiders in this situation? No. What's your favorite short horror story? It's really hard to pick one. Okay, the one that probably sat with me the longest, that haunted me the most, that I still will talk about, is The Jaunt by Stephen King. If you haven't read that, highly recommend it. It hit me in a particular way that is just it terrified me. It chilled me to the bone. But one of my favorite short stories overall is probably The Yellow Wallpaper. Just so beautifully written. But God, In Cropsburg Keep, I think was one of my favorites I've ever done on the show. And there's so many. I mean, there are a few though. There are a few. There you go. Do you believe in reincarnation? Also, the ability that one has to remember said past lives. I think it's interesting, and we surely have all collectively lived multiple lives. I love the idea of reincarnation. Again, I know I'm a little annoying about how on the fence I am. I just have really realized how little we know about things, and I don't like to ever definitively be like, I believe this happens, because I don't know. And so I have seen a lot of stories of reincarnation or, children who remember things that are just so fantastical. Like the one kid who was like a World War II pilot or something. And then there was another kid who remembered a life so well. I think it was in India, that like that person whose life they remembered living had a living family member still. And they like introduced the child to the family members. And it was like uncanny how much this kid knew, but then the kids always grow out of it. So that is really interesting to me. It's really fascinating. I used to be really into the idea of reincarnation. I used to do a lot of guided meditations that would like show you your past lives. I think I was a peasant a lot, if they were true. I remember seeing a lot of like dirt. Like I would just see like, it'd be like, okay, and now like open your third eye and like, what do you see? And like you're looking down at your shoes and I'd see like dirt. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't doing it right. Or I'm just peasant through and through. I don't know. But then sometimes I do feel like I have before, like I've lived other lives. I just feel like there's like a pull to certain people or to certain music. I remember hearing a violin piece in a movie one time years ago. And to be fair, this is around the time I was really into the idea of reincarnation and past lives. So this could be a very biased thing on my part. But I remember hearing a violin piece in a movie. It was like a Judi Dench movie or something. I can't remember. And I remember like weeping, and I felt like I had heard it before. And it was like, no, I've heard this before, like before. And I was convinced it was just, and I don't know. I don't know. But it's really interesting to me. And, I don't believe in I do believe in, multiple dimensions and things like that, I will say. So maybe, I don't know. It's a really cool idea. Coming back as like another guy. I don't know. And like at that point, it's like you start to go into like, do you come back? Do you keep coming back until you've like learned all the lessons? Do you keep coming back until, I don't know, how many times do you come back? Is there anyone new left? Like we've got a lot more people on Earth now. Some of them have got to be new, right? Or maybe they're not. Who's new? Like, then again, you do meet people sometimes and you're like, oh, you're brand new. Okay, next question. Can you swim? Yes, I'm a great swimmer. I was on the swim team when I was in middle school. And then I broke my finger because me and my friends were running through one of my friend's older sister's apartments, and the floor was wet, and I slipped and I broke my finger, and I had to quit swim team that year and never went back. But I'm a good swimmer. I love swimming so much. I learned from a very young age, and I learned in the old-fashioned way where my cousins would just throw me into the deep end and be like, live. Do you want to live? Then you will swim. I'm not saying that's the way to do it. I'm just saying that is how I learned to swim. Okay, next question. Oh, this kind of goes with the one from before. I know you're big on ghosts and all things spooky. With that being said, do you hold any spiritual beliefs? Yeah, I'm like I guess you'd call me like a woo person. I do believe in look, skeptics out there who I know listen to my show, and I love you, and please hang in there, okay? We're gonna go a little woo, and I love you, and I respect your skeptic beliefs. I get it. Okay, I'm a big skeptic myself, but I do believe in the power of manifesting because I've had too many weird synchronicities in my life. I've had too many weird coincidences, and I know it can just be chalked up to that coincidence, but sometimes it's too strange, and it feels too strange, and you meet people, and just the meeting of them feels like it was going to happen. And then there have been times in my life where it's the opposite, where I know I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not on the right path, and I can feel it in a strange spiritual way, because I stop having those synchronicities. I stop having any sort of weird coincidences. I stop having those. And it's like whenever I'm going towards something better is when I feel them a lot again. Like, not even when I'm in a good place in my life. Sometimes these have happened when I'm in a real shit part of my life, but I'm clearly making the right steps to get away from that. And so I don't have any answers. I have nothing, well, I can't say I have nothing against, but I personally do not ascribe to any sort of organized religion. That is me saying in the most diplomatic way I can, because I don't have any problem with you and you being in one. So please don't yell at me. Please. I don't personally ascribe to any organized religion. I enjoy history so much, and so a lot of organized religion fascinates me. I have a version of the Bible called the Oxford Bible, where it's annotated, so it talks about kind of the history behind different parts of the Bible, and it talks about like the origins of the story, like how this story was actually from this, was also from this ancient culture that was way older than the Bible and things like that. That stuff fascinates me. Did I love the Da Vinci Code? Yeah. When it came out, I loved that book, man. I know, whatever. I loved it. I thought it was so great. It came out when I was in like high school, so I thought it was so cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think I don't even know if it's a higher power. I don't believe in being able to destroy energy. I think that there's something bigger than all of us. I don't think there are as many rules. And I will say, I don't believe in hell, which is for some reason that bothers people a lot when I tell people that. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't think I believe in heaven in the traditional sense. I do believe in there's like something else. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's hard to, Okay, we're going to move on. What is the first horror movie you remember watching? One of my earlier memories of a horror movie, this is probably not the first, but I remember I was just talking about this on another show, I think Bloody Disgusting podcast. I had a babysitter who was like my cousin's girlfriend, and I was at her house being babysat, I think. And her brother was watching Child's Play. And I was in the living room. I remember standing in the living room behind a couch and seeing like parts of Child's Play. And that was it. My fate was sealed. I was so afraid of Chucky. I was so afraid of like any sort of evil animated doll thing, like Slappy from Goosebumps. I was so afraid of them after that. I didn't watch the rest of the Child's Play movies. I haven't even seen all of them, but I didn't see them again until like I was either an older teen or an adult. Like I didn't see them because I was so scared of them. So that's one of my first memories of watching a horror movie. Okay, what does your writing process look like? As a writer myself, I'm curious. Do you set aside a whole day? Do you write start to finish or jump from scene to scene as they come to mind? That is a good question. I have slowly been finding my way to find like my process that I kind of follow most times. So usually I start with an idea. It'll be something that comes to my mind. I'll usually put it in my story ideas on my notes app. And like I have a bunch of them scrolling through there right now. There's one, it's so funny. There's one I've written twice over the years, and I don't know. And I don't know what I meant by them. Because recently I went through like all the way back to the beginning of my notes app, like all of my ideas. And twice I've written teens at the fair or teens at a camp. Oh, story about a teenager at the fair. And then the other one says like teens at the fair. What do I mean by that? I don't know. I have no idea. But I usually will think of an idea. Whether that's the beginning, middle, or end, it depends. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is where I want to... What if a story culminated like this? Or what if this is what happens? Like, what if this happened in a story? Or what if this... And sometimes it's just how it starts. I think of the beginning of a story. And sometimes I'll let it ruminate for sometimes years. God will provide. Started as a story, like an idea I wrote years ago before I had a podcast. But all I knew is I wanted someone to eat raw chicken. In the original iteration, they find her like eating it in a parking lot, and she's even chomping on the bones and her teeth are breaking and everything. But I was like, I need someone to eat some raw chicken. I don't know what my obsession was with that. I thought it was just so visceral and gross. And it's interesting in the story, it ended up we don't even see her do it. We just find the packaging, and I don't even know if I established that she ate it raw. In my mind, she did. In the story, I don't say she does. I don't believe so. But I'll ruminate. And then from there, I've really started to make story guidelines. Actually, let me see. I can maybe pull one up from a story that's already out to kind of give you an idea of what my outlines look like. Okay, so this is from the most recent Araceli episode. I have bits of parts of the story. Like I have the very first paragraph, and then I have the part where Stella says cat litter and onion skins, and I have that little conversation. I have the cat's name is Artemis, because I had honestly forgotten what the cat's name was. I know. I have the bus hasn't shown up in 2 years. So then Araceli has become catatonic with grief. Does Doc sacrifice himself? Araceli sees him, but Stella can't. Ari realizes Doc has passed. That is something that didn't happen. So there's like some stuff in here. I don't even know if I should share this, but you know what? Whatever. Decimus has made the plane unreachable. What's the point? It isn't coming, Ari says about the bus. Stella convinces her to go wait. Instead of a carriage pulls up. This is so much more elegant than a city bus. I don't remember if she even says it in the story. Are you a witch? I beg your pardon. I am a scientist. I study alongside my husband until he went missing, and that is Edith, who didn't have a name quite yet. Then, when I do come up with Edith's name, Edith and her husband were separated during a time travel experiment. Now they can't get back home or find each other. And I have Araceli saying, like Quantum Leap. And it all sounds like nonsense to me. My husband is the whimsical one. Edith was supposed to say that. Some of these I actually do not remember if they made it into the story. Then I have, let's see, down near the bottom, though, I have a list of things that I've crossed out along the way. I have a whole list of things I wanted to accomplish in the story, and as I would get to them, I would cross them out. Araceli is catatonic. Stella and Doc convince her to wait anyway. Phantom carriage shows up. Araceli gets in and is alone. It stops on a foggy old street. A woman gets on. You must be Araceli. Meets Edith. Edith explains meeting knitting woman. Araceli says she knows her. Edith explains she and her husband are scientists and he went missing experimenting with time travel. The carriage arrives at the outskirts of a walled-off city. Outside of it lays a man that looks somewhat familiar. He's injured. They approach him. It is Decimus. Araceli recognizes him despite him having aged. Edith asks Araceli how Araceli knows him. I mean, this goes on for a while. This is like every beat of the story. Decimus mocks Araceli somehow, makes a comment about her scars. Did that eye I busted up come in handy in your world? In a way, you could say I've shown you things you never thought possible. You should be thanking me. When they ask if he's seen Victor, he points them to a forest. See, this is all stuff that does happen in the story. It's funny, I stopped crossing things off after a while. Must have gotten into a flow state. Victor sees Edith. Edith is swallowed up by... I don't know what I was saying there. What does that mean? It means, Araceli, that you don't have to wait for Halloween anymore. So there you go. That's like kind of my process is I do an outline that I add to and take away from as I actually don't really take away. I usually just leave things in my outline. Even things, as you see, that I don't use, like Doc possibly sacrificing himself, because this part 3 actually almost went into a very, very different direction. And I don't know if you want to hear about that, but okay, next question. Oh, and hopefully that helps. I don't know if that's helpful at all. But again, I'm self-taught. I didn't learn I didn't take like creative writing classes. I know they're probably very helpful in outlining how you should do all this. I didn't. So if this is if people out there who are more learned than me are like, no, then I apologize. Do you intend to reply to the eldritch creature that sends you fan mail? Comments on almost every episode. I don't know where this person comments, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or Patreon or in my email inbox. So I don't know who you are. I don't think any of them go by an eldritch creature. I don't know. But I just don't have time I don't have the bandwidth to reply to every comment, but I try to reply sometimes, and sometimes it's just not good for me to do that mentally. Even if they're compliments, sometimes it's just a little, I don't know. I don't know. I think sometimes that's how people lose themselves a little bit in content creation, is when they let good and bad comments get to their heads too much in an equal way. So, yeah, I'm not sure who you are, but I appreciate your enthusiasm, and I really do. I truly do. I've tried to get better, like on Spotify, about hearting all the comments, same as on YouTube, because I do read them and they do mean a lot to me. But again, it's just, I don't know if it's healthy for people to be that in contact with people as we are in this day and age. Oh, here's one that kind of goes with that. Do any DMs make your day? Yeah, sometimes they do. And sometimes I'll have conversations with some of you, because sometimes they're, I don't know, they just I find them at the right time, or they're more specified, like about like a specific thing they liked about an episode, or a specific thing I might like that they found like on Instagram or whatever. I usually don't open reels. Like if people send me reels, I don't it's just a cautionary thing. Same with like opening pictures. I won't open them if you send me a picture and it's like you have to click to open the image. I just won't, because I've been burned too many times before. I've seen enough unsolicited dicks. I'm sorry. They ruined it for everyone. I got asked this a lot about the Guided Nightmares, if I plan on doing more. Yes, they're not over. They're just very specific. I just spoke to someone at my network about this, about how I've overextended myself in different ways, and how things like the Guided Nightmares, I've been very inspired to write them lately, but I honestly have not had time. I've had too many like social events that are also work, but then also there are social events because I have to like be a human being and live my life. And that plus like work. I am actively working on the balance, because I had a meeting about it this week and it was like, hey, like I need like a moment for the Guided Nightmares. Like I need to make some tea. I need it to be not necessarily dark outside, but it helps. And I need to, when I write the Guided Nightmares, I go through them with you. I sit, I do every exercise, all of the breathing and like relaxing exercises in the beginning. I do them myself to make sure they're cohesive, to make sure they make sense, to make sure I am in the same headspace as you are when you're experiencing the Guided Nightmare. So that requires a lot of quiet, and it's just really difficult. So I it's not even that I intend to. There will be more Guided Nightmares. There will be. Send me ideas of any situations you'd like me to throw you into. But yes, there will be. And I am, again, actively working on making sure that I can make sure that happens. Your natural look on the latest episode of Bloody Disgusting is hot AF. Thank you. I don't know when this got sent in. I assume it's the episode that I did after Creep by Econ, where I didn't wear any makeup because you said natural look. So I appreciate that. I have a lot of self-confidence issues when it comes to my appearance. So having been on there with no makeup on was already terrifying, but not more terrifying than the urge to not do my makeup that day. And so I appreciate it. I do. Thank you so much. Are there any future plans for live shows, perhaps in Texas? I don't have any plans for future live shows. I don't know if I could fill a venue on my own, so it would probably need to be a situation like the live show I did in Chicago a few years ago, where I did it with SCP Archives and Creepy, and together we all had a pretty successful live show. So it would have to be a situation like that, and I haven't heard anybody wanting to do that or anything, so I don't know. I would love to, though. I think we're going to start doing more stuff around LA, but travel-wise, it's just, it's a lot of money up front that, and it's a big risk. And in this economy, I would love to, though. If someone came to me and was like, hey, we would love you to join this tour, or we'd love for you to like go do this thing, then hell yeah, I would love to. And I'd love to go do a live show in Texas. That would be fun. Could you take me to barbecue? I've never had Texas barbecue. I've been to Texas like once to actually be there, and then another time on a layover. And I haven't had Texas barbecue. So if I come, you got to bring me Texas barbecue, or bring me to it. You don't even have to buy it for me. I know barbecue is expensive, right? I think it is. I'll buy it, but just like, facilitate me having it in my mouth. Thank you. Oh, see, here's another one. How can I get a job at Bloody Disgusting? Well, the way I did it is a little unconventional. So I don't know. Start a podcast, get hired by Spotify, let that contract go away, and then be on your own for a little bit, and then meet someone at Bloody Disgusting and be like, oh my God, we're become just BFFs and have a 4-hour bitch sesh with each other. And then later on be like, hey, do you actually want to join our network? And be like, oh my God, yeah, actually, that sounds great. And then be like, hey, I actually would love to not just put all my eggs in one basket. I would love to expand creatively and work on other shows and work on other projects. And it's like, okay, yeah. Do you want to try like show running this show? Do you want to try writing for this show? Oh my God, yes. And then all of a sudden you make all these connections and friends at the network. And then it's like, hey, actually, you seem competent. Can you, maybe if we brought you on part-time to like help with like spreadsheets and stuff like that, would that be cool? And you're like, yeah, because the economy's terrible. So I will take any other job I can get just to make sure I can keep my cat in the luxury that she has so become accustomed. And so yes, and so that's how I did it. I don't know. I don't know how else to do it. I wish I knew. I wish I could tell you. Again, check the website. There might be a career. I think there's a career section. Maybe start trying to write for editorial, like you can pitch to the website. If you are a writer, like you can try it. You can send in pitches. There is a contact form on there to send pitches to write for the website. So maybe that's a good place to start. If you want to be a writer. That's the thing too. I get a lot of this at Creep IE where they're like, how do I work there? But no one says like, what do they do or what they want to do at Bloody Disgusting? So it's like, well, there's a bunch of different jobs everywhere from the fun creative ones all the way to the very much behind the scenes. You probably don't know these people's names because they do payroll type jobs, So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Man, we're coming up on an hour. Let's see. I think I'll do an hour and a half. 2 hours seems egregious. I'll do an hour and a half. I'm not going to get through all these though, unfortunately. I'll do a part 2 at a later date. Yeah. So let me know if you don't mind. If you get to the end of this episode and you're like, I wish you would have just kept talking, then I'll know for the future. But if you get to the end of the episode and you're like, yeah, you could have maybe made it a little shorter and then done a part 2. I mean, there will be a part 2, but you know what I mean? Like, just let me know. This is a new kind of format to me, so help me gauge. My posture this entire episode, by the way, has been awful. All this talk about my bad lower back, and I have had my feet propped up on my desk like some kind of evil CEO who's about to tell you that you've been fired right before Christmas. I usually have very proper posture when I'm narrating, and I guess this is just us hanging out though. Like, when my friends come over and we're on my couch, I literally will be my feet up on the back of my couch with my friends. So we're just friends. We're hanging. Okay. You have talked about your mental health on the podcast. When you are feeling down, what do you do to make yourself feel better? I watch Bob's Burgers. Usually lately, I don't know. I try to I vent to my friends if I'm not in the headspace to vent to my friends, because I'm very much if I'm in a mental health so low or I'm in a crying mood, I won't vent to my friends. I don't want to make them listen to me cry or be in when I go to a dark place, I alienate myself a lot. So you're asking about mental health. You're saying feeling down. Let's just talk about a really down day, or a really down time. I alienate myself a lot, which is maybe not the greatest. I don't know if this is good advice. I usually try to set aside some time where I just don't answer texts or emails or anything other than work emails, because I feel like if I ever don't everyone's going to hate me and I'll be fired. Anyway, but like yesterday, I had a really difficult week last week. So yesterday I took my Saturday and I was like, okay, I'm going to clean my kitchen. Cleaning makes me feel happy. It just does. It makes me feel, production makes me feel happy. I don't know if it's like my particular brand of ADHD or what, but feeling like I've produced something makes me feel happy. So I'll deep clean my kitchen, and then I will go walk to the grocery store and get, good little walk in, get some fresh air, buy something delicious for dinner that I'm not worried about health-wise or anything, because I get a little hard on myself when it comes to what I eat. And so I will, like yesterday I went and I got the stuff. I made this like creamy artichoke sun-dried tomato pasta, and I got like I splurged on some really good Parmigiano Reggiano, and I made some tapioca with mango and coconut, like I had said I was. Oh, but I also had some green tomatoes on my tomato plant, and I, for the first time ever, made some fried green tomatoes. I ate a lot. I think I eat it's not just the eating, it's the cooking. Like I loved, like I made something new. I'd never made fried green tomatoes. I did the whole process of cooking this pasta. And again, I watched some Bob's Burgers. It's been just my go-to happy show recently. And then I played video game. I played The Witcher for a few hours, and just to like center myself. I just have to center myself. And on those times too, I don't necessarily like sometimes I'll listen to more upbeat music, but I usually just sit with my own thoughts. I've gotten to where when I'm really down, I realize I need to go through it to get back up. So instead of letting myself stay down, I really pushed through, like, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? How can I fix it? And again, I don't know if that's even a good thing. 10 years from now, I might be like, whoa, that was just me being a workaholic and just trying to like put a Band-Aid on a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. I'm not a mental health professional. That's what I've been doing. That's what I do. You did ask what I do, not what like professionals recommend. So that's what I do. What is your favorite kind of pizza? Any sort of supreme, like with like everything on it. And I'm talking everything, including pineapple, like sausage, onions, green peppers, black olives, some pepperoni, every pineapple, not ham. Okay, the only things I'm not a big fan of are ham and mushrooms. But even if they're there, if you're like, here's our supreme and it has ham and mushrooms, I'm not even going to be mad. I'll just like pick them off or whatever. Sometimes I'll just eat them. I'm not a very picky eater, like at all. I'm like the opposite of a picky eater, honestly. But for pizza, any sort of supreme, give me all of it. Put it all on. That's what I like. That, or the opposite sometimes, a very simple margarita pizza. Like a very, very well done. And it's got to be like an actual, like well done, not well done as in cooked well done, but like proper margarita pizza with the buffalo mozzarella, with the fresh basil and fresh tomato slices. Like that kind of margarita pizza. Or supreme, or like a sloppy supreme, or a dainty margarita. So yeah, two modes. Two wolves live inside you. One of them is a margarita, a simple little margarita pizza, sometimes with a little arugula on top. And the other one is a supreme with stuffed crust. And those are my two wolves. With a beer, with a nice beer. I love beer. If you ever want to send me beer, and some of you have before, that's so nice of you. I've been sent beer once. I love beer a lot. Okay, I'm going to skip around a little bit just because I want to get to some of your questions you left me more recently. Because some of those were from like a month ago. Okay, some of you want to know this. You've mentioned getting more sexual and flirtatious messages on these AMAs lately. Is that a confidence boost, or does it just leave a kind of creepy feeling? Coming from a good-hearted lesbian who always wants you to know how hot you are, but never in an uncomfy way. honestly, it is a confidence boost for someone to think I'm hot. I was not considered that for like a long time in my life. And in my past relationship, I definitely was not. So it does boost my confidence. But then there are some that are just like, some of them are graphic. And I think it's more like, I mean, for one, I guess it could be argued like, that's wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just me. But it's more like, okay, it would be like reading porn of yourself. And it just, I don't even know how to unpack that feeling. I don't know how to unpack that. Some of it has made me feel very unsafe. I had to have one that I actually like told my parents about, and now they make me like track my location, because one of them, or a couple of them I got, were very disturbing and very specific and made me feel very unsafe. But that was not usual. Mostly they're just like, I want you to sit on my face and like stuff like that. So here's a good one. How do you deal with self-doubt? I'm sure it took a lot of courage to start a podcast and branch out into a new career path. How do you navigate the anxiety that inevitably came with this? Again, going back to that mental health question, a lot of what I've done recently is just pushing past it. For one, really breaking through the ego of caring what people think of you. That is different than taking constructive criticism, because constructive criticism is still very helpful, and it's the only reason I have gotten to where I am today. However, there is an anxiety that I have also seen in peers of mine where it's so insidious that you're constantly questioning how you are in meetings, how you are perceived on a show, how you are. You just have to not care. And I know that's so much easier said than done. It took me a long time. It took me a long time of just exposure to really mean comments about my show, about my voice, about my appearance, about everything that you get. That's the thing in this industry. It's going to be, if you become successful, it's going to be mean. Once you get past having an audience of friends and family, which is the goal, obviously, people aren't nice. Even when they think they're not being mean, sometimes it's something that really gets to you. I luckily got a little bit of a trial by fire when I was working as a background actor, because Hollywood's not nice. Being on movie sets, I mean, they will just call you the worst of the worst names and treat you like garbage and make you run in the freezing rain for 12 hours or be in the sun where you pass out from heat exhaustion and be like, well, you're DNR'd, which is do not rehire. You're blacklisted. Which is things I've seen happen, things I've experienced. And so I don't know if it's like coming from being degraded so hard. Like the most degrading thing I used to do was doing like audience work, where you were in the audience for like game shows and talk shows, because they would be so mean. Like they would criticize what you were wearing. They would categorize you by your appearance. Like you would get different wristband colors, so they would put the hotter people in the front, or different categories depending, because sometimes you'd work on shows and they'd want like a certain demographic up front because that was the demographic of the show. But then you'd work on like I worked on ridiculousness a bunch of times. I was in the audience for that, and they would literally like rate you by hotness. And there were definitely times where I was in the front and there were times where I was in the back, and they would be very vocal about that. And it was so incredibly humiliating and cruel that maybe I think by the time I got to podcasting, I had worked out a lot of the anxiety of what other people thought of me, because I just had a baseline, and you probably heard it in these answers. I have, and it's not healthy, but a baseline of like, not just I think I lived off the assumption for a long time, like, well, people think very little of me anyway, so why not? Why not do it? People already think little of me. All I can do is prove them wrong, because they already think I'm down here. So all I can do is rise up. I'm not there anymore. I'm at a point where I'm very neutral in the way people perceive me. Again, I love compliments. I love constructive criticism. I can never say that. But there's a certain voice in your head that I think you're talking about where it's like, what will people think of me? Because it's embarrassing until it works. Because once it works, what can they say? I mean, I had friends who would full on to my face say that my little hobby was stupid. And they're talking about this show that I do for a living now. I mean, I had people criticize me to no end about this stupid show. I used to be in these Facebook groups for the last podcast on the left, and I was like in a bunch of the little spin-off groups who would make fun of me in these little secrets. It was anonymous stuff like this where they could send in anonymous messages and like would make fun of me and my living situation, how broke I was, how like this and that. Like, people are gonna people, and people who care that much are more insecure than you are, and don't stoop to their level by having the same anxieties, the same insecurities. Be better than them. Like, I know the whole, like, we're all, like, we shouldn't feel like we're better than other people. You are. You're better than them. You're better than them. Whoever wrote this question, you are better than them. I'm better than them. And you don't have to stoop to the level of anxiety and insecurity. And I'm not talking about, like, anxiety in the sense that, type that needs to be worked on through therapy and medication and everything. I'm just talking about the baseline of like, I am anxious and I am scared and insecure and I'm afraid to start this venture because of what people will think and strangers will think and people I know will think, and you just can't. I just said at the top of the show, I kind of do a dance like nobody's watching thing when it comes to my family listening to the show and the way I go about my career and my public appearance and everything, because there was a writer who gave this advice that I read years ago, and I cannot remember for the life of me who said it, but it was basically like, write like your parents are never going to read it. Because, and I know not everyone has the same relationship with their parents. I know not everyone has, but like, it's good advice overall. And like, again, dance like no one's watching. The Home Goods wooden sign that your auntie has in her kitchen was right in a way. So, yeah, I don't know. Was that maybe that was too, like, I don't know, blunt. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to read a couple more questions. Oh, this one was funny. Sorry this isn't smut, smiley face. I saw you posting a PS5 controller on an Insta story the other day. What have you been playing? Any faves? Ever played Soma? That one has been living rent-free in my head for years. I've never played Soma, and I think I would like it. I have played, recently I played Silent Hill F, and I actually, I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite Silent Hill. But I have honestly just been hyper fucking fixated. Once again, this is not the first time in my life. The last time was before I had a podcast. So you guys just have to hear about it this time around. But as The Witcher 3, I just love it so much. I get lost in it. I love the stories. I love how brutal some of the stories are. Like, absolutely heartbreaking. I love that everything you do has an outcome or affects the outcome of these little storylines. And like, sometimes you fuck up, man. And sometimes there like is no good way to go about it. There's just gonna be a sad ending, but it's which is the lesser evil of the sad ending. And like, I just love hacking and slashing monsters and being like hot Geralt of Rivia, just hacking and slashing. It's my happy place. So, but yes, I do have a PS5. So any recommendations, would love to have them. I don't know if people can add me as a friend on there. I think my settings are pretty locked down for reasons, but my gamer tag is Shelby Shark if you want to try. Okay, so let's get back to the smut ones real quick. See, like this. Hey, so I think you're fucking hot. My wife and I were wondering if you would let me. First of all, I don't know who you are. No. First of all, no. No, thank you. Also, what is the way this is worded? Is it just like for shock value? Is it... I don't get it. I just don't... It just perplexes me, the way to like use... And it's like also you're using an anonymous form. You know that, right? I don't know who you are. Hey Shelby, I've got 2 questions for you. How is dormir o morir going? I'm so bad at saying it. My accent. This is why my grandma probably gave up on teaching me Spanish, because my accent is atrocious. My dad's is too, though, and he speaks way more Spanish than me. Is there any possibility of continuation? So the thing is with that. The Spanish, if you don't know what I'm talking about, is the Spanish version of Scare You to Sleep that I did a season of. It was really expensive. Personally, out of pocket, I paid, I think, over $1,000 during a time when I didn't really have that, but was really like, yay, this is going to happen. And then, like, and I hate to sound like this to just be a capitalistic venture, but I want to pay voice actors and translators properly what they're owed. And I did. I had professional translators, professional voice actors where Spanish is their native language, and I wanted it to be properly done, you know? So not just translated word for word, but translated culturally. Like my my translator, he did a fantastic job translating certain things that were just more like you know, just little like sayings and things that would make more sense. And I don't know, I wanted it properly done, not half-assed and just Google translated or whatever. So it was that, and to get into stuff, yeah, like the network put up the other half, and we didn't make any of that back, like any of it. And so it was just at the time, then I like got divorced and I lost all my money. And so it's honestly it's a monetary thing. I could maybe look into doing it again, but it's been a while, but people have asked for it. It would just have to be purely for passion. And again, though, I'd have to be able to pay for it to be done properly, because I don't want it to be done improperly. And I want people to get paid what they're worth and not, you know, cheap out on anyone or pay them a pittance. So yeah, that is, so maybe in the future, but probably not, unfortunately, unless like I get some sort of maybe co-sponsor with a company that we could figure something out. And yeah, I'm sorry, that's like a boring ass like corporate question. Unfortunately, things do get stopped because of monetary reasons, and that's just the world we live in. Also, is your surname Czech in origin? Because I am Czech, and it is the most common surname here. I love you. Thank you for what you do. It is Czech in origin. My great-grandparents came over when it was like still the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It wasn't Czechoslovakia yet, and now it's not Czechoslovakia anymore. So yeah, came over a long time ago. I remember when I was doing background, I met a woman who I would give her rides home sometimes, and she was Czech, and she was like, she told me that, and she told me that, like, I guess this could be wrong, but she's like, your last name, because you're a woman, would be Novakova if you were there. But I remember her telling me, like, your last name is like it's so common there. It's like Smith here, apparently. So, but yes, originally, generations ago, yes, I am. What's funny, that family actually ended up moving to Valentine, Nebraska. And when I was playing, and they were like homesteaders, they also lived in South Dakota. And when I was playing Red Dead Redemption, you go to Valentine, and I was like, oh my God, this is the place. And I remember I told my dad, I was like, you get to play in Valentine. That's the second time a cool video game thing has happened to me. It was Red Dead Redemption 2, which is another one of my favorite games. I don't own it anymore. That got taken in the divorce. But I would like to buy it again for PS5, because, man, I loved that game. You didn't ask about video games. You just asked about my last name. Funny, another time that happened in a video game was GTA 5, out where you see where Trevor lives. Is it Trevor? It's Trevor, right? Not Travis? Anyway, that is the Salton Sea, which is where you have to drive by that to get to where I'm from in Imperial, California. And it was just so weird to see the Salton Sea and like Salton City portrayed in a video game. I was so blown away by it. And I remember telling my ex, like, no, you don't understand. Like, that's, like, I grew up near there. And, like, so the next time we went to see my parents, I drove through Salton City to show him, and was like, and he was blown away too, because it was, like, exact. It was so trippy to see Salton City, like, in a video game where you could walk around, and so much of it was so accurate. It was so crazy. Oh, I love video games. Hey, would you like to get a beer and talk about how Skinamarink is one of the best movies of the last decade? I would love to do that. You're just trying to butter me up, aren't you? No one else likes Skinamarink but me. But again, it's an anonymous form. I don't know who you are. There was another one I remember seeing at some point. Again, I'm not going to get to all these. They're way more than I thought. I guess getting like a couple day to day didn't feel like I had that many questions, and that's not true at all. There were so many. There was someone talking about getting a steak and a beer. But hey, and someone else asked me about would I ever date a fan long distance? Let me find that one. Here it is. Hi, Shelby, longtime listener, first-time caller. I think you do an excellent job, and I'm one of your fans who loves your talking at the end of the podcast. When you talk about baking, it reminds me of happy times I had baking with my grandma. Q&A, would you ever consider dating a fan long distance? I think to make long distance work, I have been in long distance relationships, and I feel like you have to have like a very cosmic close relationship, like... And you'd have to, it couldn't just be like, we're long distance for like ever, and then we finally meet in person in like 2 years or whatever, even 2 months. Like I have to have a tangible physical meeting with someone to actually enter into a relationship with them. Like I would not commit to someone if I had not spent a good amount of time with them in the flesh. I just don't feel like I could make that connection work, because of just who I am as a person. Also, I'm glad I reminded you of baking with your grandma. That's awesome. I took a video of my grandma making tortillas like a year ago. I'm so glad I did. And in the video I have her explain the process, and I'm just so glad I have it. And it's not something I'm like gonna post. Sorry, you can't have my grandma's tortilla recipe. It's personal, you know? And, but it's so meaningful to have. So if you ever get the idea to do that, you should do it. Okay. What is it like having so many strangers feel connected to you? I love falling asleep to my close friend telling me scary bedtime stories, but it's wild when I think about how we've never actually met. You know, it's strange. It's something that, it's been difficult to talk to friends about, because it's like they understand, but they don't know what it feels like. And it's hard to like talk to anybody about other than like fellow people who have gone through that. I have a couple friends in the creative space who I've talked to, because it's a heavy feeling. It's a good feeling. I'm so glad to have brought, because I have creators who I feel the same way about, like a couple ASMR people, especially, and podcasters who I love, like I feel a love for them. So I understand the parasocial feeling of like, no, I love this person, and if anything happened to them, I would lose my mind, and I want them to know how loved they are, and I wish they would just know, like, not necessarily how much I love them, but like how loved they are, and how much their content means to me, and how much it has helped me through. And I do try to make a point that even myself, if you ever see the Scare You to Sleep YouTube account comment on a video, I do try to make it a point to be like, hey, this is so good, or this is so meaningful, and like, hey, you really helped me through some stuff, because I'm same thing, like there's people's content who has really helped me through some really dark times. And you know, you follow a content creator, and whether it be a YouTuber or podcaster, what have you, and you look back and you're like, wow, I've actually listened to this for years. Like there was a video recently from one of the ASMR people I listened to, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this one. It was like one of the first ones I'd ever listened to of hers, and I listened to it like when it first came out. I remember it was new, and it was like 9 years old. I was like, what the fuck? There's no way it's 9 years old. And it was so crazy. Like, wow, I've listened, this person has been there calming my nervous system for me for almost a decade. And there's no way to not feel an attachment in that way. So I understand it. Because I experienced it myself, I'm very understanding of it. It's why when I meet anyone in person, I hope I always meet people on my best days. I never want to give someone one of my bad days, but it makes me feel so touched every time I talk to someone who, like, it's mostly at the conventions where I meet people, it is never any lesser of a feeling every single time I have met someone who says, I love your content, I love you, I love, this means a lot to me. It's never felt like I get jaded by a lot of things in this life. Not that feeling, not so far. So far, it has meant the same thing every single time. And sometimes I really do sit with myself and my feelings. I'll get a particular message, and I can't even tell you what would be said in these messages. It's always different, but sometimes I will get just a certain message or email or DM, and it's like, I feel this heaviness of like, wow, I've felt this impact in my life from other creators. And the idea that I've done it to any one person, not to mention there are so many of you. And I'm not saying you're all equally as like have the same feelings. Some of you are like, girl, it's not that serious on my part. I just like your little stories. I get it. But for those of you that it is, it's a heavy feeling. And again, it's a weirdly like lonely feeling because it's hard to explain to other people. And sometimes I'll get one of those messages and I'll try to talk to someone about it. And I don't ever have anyone who's flippant about it in my life. I've gotten rid of a lot of those people. But it's hard to, I think I've mentioned it on this show before. I can't open my chest and show you what this feels like, what my feelings are. And that is not just a me thing. That's all how we all are as people. My situations and my feelings are more important to me than anyone else's because I'm me, and I don't think that's like a form of solipsism to say that. It's just human, But it's a very long-winded answer to say, it's heavy, but I am so grateful for it. It's not a burden in its heaviness. It's more of one of those weighted blankets. I should get one of those. I think I'd like those weighted blankets. It's like that. It's a cozy feeling, but also sometimes it's a little scary because I am so afraid of disappointing people. I'm afraid of disappointing people who my content means a lot to them. And I'm so afraid of losing all of you. I'm afraid of that every single day. I'm not kidding. I get kept awake at night by the thought of all of you not turning on me, but just forgetting about me, essentially. And is that a very egotistical thing to say? Maybe, I don't know. But I do. I like sometimes will wake up in like a sweat and be like, what if they all just stop listening? What if they all just stop? What if they all go away? What if I become irrelevant to this community overnight? And it's my biggest fear. That just, you'll all disappear someday and I won't have my weighted blanket anymore. I think that's a great place to leave off. There are still a lot of questions. Please let me know if you would like a part 2. Especially, I'm sure there are questions that maybe some of you asked that I didn't get to. And none of them were skipped for reasons other than just time. And I tried to make this a really eclectic array of things. I didn't want it to be the same thing over and over. Yeah, and I'll see you in a few days for the normal episode. And over on the Bloody Disgusting podcast, you can ask me questions over there too. We answer questions over there as well. They're not anonymous though. Sorry. We only use like the email form, or I guess you can if you text or call. We have a voicemail over there as well. Okay. I'm gonna go, and this has been nice. This has been really nice. Nice and cozy. Had my feet kicked up. We just had a little chat. It was vulnerable in some parts too, so I hope I didn't scare you all away with whatever I've said in this. Was just blacked out and started talking, which is so much of my life. Okay, I'm gonna go. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you again later. I love you, and go get some sleep. Sweet dreams.